So which of the Subarus is the better tuner car overall? Is it the new WRX or is it the old school STI? So welcome to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to go over kind of like the opinion of which one of the cars kind of is the better to modify, kind of what to expect when modifying, and some of the pros and cons of each from the factory. So we'll just get right into it. One of the very big pros that the STI has over the new WRX and even the old school WRXs is the fact of it comes with a very stout transmission, whereas the new WRX kind of carries over the same design as the older WRXs, just with an added 6-gear and revised gearing. So it's not as stout as an STI trans. So if you really start to push the power on a WRX outside of say 350 foot-pounds at the wheels on torque, then you could run into potential transmission issues. Whereas the STI, when you start to bump the power up, the STI trans has been able to hold well above its horsepower rating for many years. So as far as body and looks go, the new VB WRX is a completely polarizing debate for many people. My opinion, starting out, they kind of looked pretty bad, but as people have gotten a hold of them and put body aero kits and stuff on them, painted the cladding, tends to look a lot better now than it did from the outset. Of course, the STI, everybody kind of polarizing on that also. Some of them would come out and they looked bad. So really, looks department is subjective because you can change it and modify it as you want to. And in the tuner world, I mean, you can wide body anything. It's just whatever your imagination can come up with and ever how much money you want to throw at it. So that's kind of a draw for looks and looks modability and such. So another pro for the STI as far as tuning and modifying goes is the fact that the STI comes with better brakes than the standard WRX, the new WRX, whatever have you. You know, the brakes on the WRX are fine for street use, but as far as its overall braking capability, the STI does come with better brakes. Power limitations that each car carries, and that's a con to each car, is that with the stock, STI block, the old school EJ, except we'll not talk about the 19s and ups, because 19 and up are a little bit different due to the RA motor. It can handle a little bit more power before it has catastrophic failure. So for the vast majority, let's just say 04 to 18 EJ, 350 wheel horsepower is about as much as you'd probably want to push it for reliability purposes before you pop a ring land, because that's what they're famous for. And then in that regard, the new WRX, about 350 wheel torque, because of the transmission is pretty well, like I say, it's the old style transmission, the 5-speed glass transmission carried over to the new 6-speed. It's the same design roughly, just a little bit different gearing and stuff, but same case design. And at 350 wheel torque, you'll probably start shredding gears if you're too hard on it. So with that being said, is that they both are kind of limited to the same number, and it's a con on each of them. But if you start with the STI, you don't have transmission issues, but you have the motor issues. And if you start with the WRX, you don't have motor issues, you have transmission issues. So it's kind of like which one do you want to roll with? So now we'll talk about what everybody wants to talk about, and that is power modability. The STI in full bolt-on E85 stock turbo, you're looking at about 320, 340 wheel horse and 350, 380 wheel torque. Again, that's dyno variations, day of the month, whatever, how that is with dynos. WRX, this is where it kind of makes up for some things. That new motor, you're looking at the same 320, 340 wheel horse. This is on E85, and you're going to hit somewhere around 380, over 400 foot-pounds of torque I'm seeing. And the one I'm speaking of for reference is the SubiSpeed version, where they had a Turbo Smart compact electromechanical BOV and I think a Remark catback. But they hit over 400 foot-pounds of torque at the wheel with minimal modifications. So in that regard, As far as modifying for power goes, the WRX wins hands down because it takes roughly, let's just say $8,000 to $12,000 to get the STI to full bolt-on and flex to hit that same number that the new WRX hits for far less money. When I think of tuner car, I think of a car that you can, experiment with, you can try different things out on, and just see how it overall affects the car. And so with all that being said, in my opinion, like I say, the experimental side of things and the tunability to come for the new WRX, I kind of think that the new WRX is the new tuner king as far as the Subarus go. This old STI is just what it is. It's just old, tried and true formula, kind of works. Everybody knows what to do with them. So the new WRX is kind of like a new slate, just something to experiment and play with. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Catch you in the next one.